Hello, everybody. Welcome to What Do We Know, episode 5. We're going to be talking about health today. We have Tiffany and Jolie and me, Ashley. And I have been wondering, just both Tiffany and Jolie have very, I think, extremely relatable health experiences, health journeys. And the more that they've been telling me, the more interesting I keep finding things, thinking, okay, I think everyone can relate to this. So, who wants to get started? And you guys tell me.
You want to go, Jolie? You want to start?
Yeah, but I guess I feel like where do you want me to jump in?
Where do you want us to start?
Yeah. Ask a question, Ash, and I'll see if I can answer it.
I think what are you doing now? We're going to start this health topic with physical health. What's life look like for you with everything you've got going on?
Well, for physical health, I kind of have been doing my workout routine for the last year or so has been working with a personal trainer and being on the treadmill, walking, which is for me way lower than say I was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I was twice a day at the gym, doing marathons, triathlons, all the things, all the time. So this is a way scaled back version for me. And I am currently doing Ozempic for weight loss. And so, but I haven't really changed my eating that much.
Explain how you eat anyways.
Yes.
Because my background is I struggled with anorexia and bulimia for most of my life. I started in high school. It got really bad in my late 30s and 40s. And so I've always limited my food intake, been really obsessive about that. But then when we moved to Arizona and there was a lot of family stuff that I ended up going to therapy for, they put me in treatment. So eating disorder treatment. And so I was in treatment for 3 years. Never had to go to inpatient, although they threatened it a lot. But because of the treatment, I ended up putting on weight that was so uncomfortable for me, just way more than I felt like I could. For me, more than I thought was even healthy, but also just feeling like I wasn't living in my own body anymore. So that's why I went to Ozempic. I would say I was overweight, but I wasn't crazy. But for me, it was I'm so uncomfortable. And then I hit menopause. So now it's even harder to lose weight. So that's why I started doing it.
So with Ozempic, okay, so those who don't, maybe we'll have Tiffany break down a little bit more on specifically Ozempic. Is that the name brand of, we call it in our world medically supported weight loss, but is Ozempic a brand or what's the generic?
Okay, that I don't know.
Yeah. So Ozempic is, I think it was kind of the original, that was kind of the Khloe Kardashian, you know what I mean? That's kind of what everybody was. It's just kind of what's been given as the general name, I think, to all of them. Now, Jolie and I I'll give a little bit of background. We do go to the same doctor. We are both supported by a MD doing this. I think in next week, I'm at 1 year on working with my doctor. Jolie, how long have you been?
I'm at 11 weeks, and so I have one more week of the first round, and then I'll probably do like another month or two, just depending. Like, and this is where I think like I have to like where it's like more I bring my family in and I adjust because I lose perspective, and so I would like, you know, I have to figure out where is the healthy weight,
Yeah.
because obviously 100 pounds isn't, but so I need to like I have to be able to stop before I reach. So like that. So
And
I'll
Dr.
probably
Lutz will definitely, and Dr. Lutz too.
yeah.
I mean, she will work. She's so
Yeah.
good. Shout out to her. It's good to have a doctor that, I don't want to say she allows us to be our own physician. She's my main doctor as well. And she's been like, she's just one of those doctors that's like, we're going to do every blood test. We're going to do all the things and get the facts, but you know your body better than I know your body. So we're going to do this. Like, I'm the doctor, but you're working alongside of me because you know what's going on. You know what you're feeling. She's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's a great resource. And actually she's a doctor that says, I think, she'll tell you flat out no if you aren't a candidate. If your A1C is too low, you can't be taking the drug anyways, because your blood sugars will bottom out and it's no good to you anyway. So she does an extremely thorough look at your body before. I'm sorry, were you asking me for a little background on the drug itself, Ashley?
Yeah, we'll get into that. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, you're good. I just wanted to make sure.
Where was I going with this?
I don't know. I mean, we're kind of in the world that we've heard the word Ozempic, but any listener who's like, "What in the heck are they talking about?"
It's a brand form of any GLP-1. I've heard the name. I've heard the phrase peptides. I haven't heard that from my doctor, but I've also heard that going around. So yeah, basically any GLP-1, it's a form of it. I take a generic called semaglutide with a B12 compound in it. So
that's the word I've heard before, is semaglutide. Okay, so what I've seen from, or I guess heard from friends who've experienced this, is whether they're overeating, undereating, whatever, both are so similar in that it can feel like your brain cannot shut up thinking about food, thinking about what you're eating, what you're not eating, how much you're eating, how much you're not eating. And this is trigger warning, by the way, for anybody who's watching or listening, because I know that alone can just feel triggering. But what I hear from every end of the spectrum is when people are using this medically supported weight loss drug, is that it can like shut off the noise. So you can actually start to learn how to practice like consciousness without the constant thoughts. Are you guys experiencing that? And do you think that's been part of the healing process?
Go ahead, Tiff.
I mean, I felt that like that's the number one thing for me is that I called it food brain. It was just super, it kind of takes over, and there's so much other things we should be doing during the day that it's like we can't just be thinking about what we're gonna eat and how the day can revolve around what we're eating, which was a huge problem for me. But that was the instantaneous effect for me, because I don't think I lost any weight for a couple weeks. I could see my body, the inflammation going down and stuff like that, but that was the instant effect, and I feel like that was the true like that's the true treasure in the whole thing. I do understand what's going on in the background, but yeah, that was huge. And I feel like the root is control, right? Like whether we're in control of what we're eating or if we're in control by not eating. Food is the one thing, like we can, and I'm not saying it's easy or it's even possible for some people, but you can take alcohol out of your diet and survive. You can take drugs out of your diet and you know what I mean, out of your daily life
Smoking,
and survive.
whatever.
Smoking, anything that is an addiction, you can take out. Even if you're addicted to the, you know what I mean, just the control of food, I feel like you can eliminate that. You can't eliminate food.
Right.
Even on Ozempic, you can't eliminate food because that's not healthy either. So I feel like it's the one thing where this is really, really helpful because it is something that's an everyday part of our life for survival. So you can't take it away. You have to fix it. And I feel like there's a lot of people that poo-poo it. There's a lot of people that don't understand it. And that's just fine. You don't have to like what it does. But until you've had your brain acting like that, there's no way you can really, really understand the true value of what this can do for someone. It's pretty,
Wow.
I feel like it's pretty, miraculous in my mind. I don't know. Are you feeling that, Jolie?
So I think for me it's a little bit different because had I had not done the years of eating disorder treatment, which did help quiet my eating disorder brain, then I do think, and like this is kind of a warning, then you shouldn't take it because like, so I in general don't have hunger because I was I just jacked up my system so bad that my body no longer recognized hunger. And so after 3 years of treatment, I was just starting to get that back. Like, and so, because, so limiting food, like that is my go-to, like skipping meals, like that's where I get to control. Food is where I get to control. And so, um, so had I not learned like what a more healthy diet looks like, and that you actually, like, if you're going to get on the treadmill, you better have eaten something, or if you're going to work out, like, had I not learned that I need food to gain muscle, like, and really learned it, even though I'd heard it for years, it's like, then this would be a problem probably because it is an appetite suppressant, essentially. I mean, so I have to more consciously think, okay, what have I eaten today and what should I eat? The other piece of it is I'm also super competitive. So like my first month on it, I'm like, not only am I going to lose weight, but I'm going to lose the most weight they've ever seen. So I'm going to be the best at this thing. And so like I have to like get into perspective. And so
Right.
I even like the first week, yeah, like I did lose weight right away. And so I'm like, this is awesome. I'm gonna get on the treadmill every day and I'm gonna like rock this. Like it's gonna be amazing. And then the next week, like lost a pound. And I was like, oh, okay, wait, like this is not how this works. Like
Right.
if I just live my normal life, that's how it works. And so I think I had to like learn that because my brain automatically goes to, oh, they're telling me to like portion control. Sweet. I'm going to be the best at this. So I have to like, sometimes I need to shut off even the noise of the doctor's office because to be fair, they don't know my full background. So, so like, okay, I can eat like a normal amount. And this is like teaching that. Plus, it pulled because one of the like effects is it also makes alcohol like unappealing. So it pulled that out of my diet. So like I can more consciously make choices of eating protein and the right things in a healthier way. So I still have to, because I'm kind of fighting the other way. So I still have to really think about it. But because I did treatment, my eating disorder brain was quieted to some extent. Like I don't feel like I have to control it quite as much, and I'm more comfortable in my body than I was previously, I guess. So
Yeah.
That's
That
good.
makes sense. Do you have any idea yet what the like transition is once you've, worked with your doctor to say, all right, we're here. What does that look like? Is it something that people just continue to use? Is it just less often? Do you decrease your dose? Is there ever a point where you're completely off of it? What does that even look like?
I think I can speak to myself personally. Our plan is when you're on medication, you do something called titrating. So you titrate up. So you start at extremely low dose and then add in and add in and add in until you get to the actual prescription. And then that actual prescription is where you kind of are in your, I would say, like your weight loss phase or getting to whatever your goal is, and then you will titrate back down. My plan is a long-term plan because the reason that I started was because my A1Cs are high. Literally, she was like, it's in 6 weeks. If you would have been in my office, maybe 6 weeks later, you would have been going on insulin instead of a weight loss drug. And so for me, it'll be to control my A1C, but it'll be an extremely low dose.
Sure.
And I think after being on the full dose for so long, I don't think it's going to be the same. But I think that you step down gradually, much like the same with many. I mean, if you do anything and then just stop at cold turkey and go back to what you were doing, anything can be poo-pooed. Ashley, you're a health coach, and the program that you coach to is this exact same way. If you don't learn new habits and you don't get control of what caused it, what's the root of it, what am I doing, why am I doing this, why am I eating like this, why am I not exercising, then welcome back to your old habits. You also, I mean, when people are losing weight, they get off diabetic medication, they get off high blood pressure medication, and I mean, it's the same thing, like cholesterol. All the things that go away come right back. So you can choose to stay in whatever state you want to be in. Sometimes medication, I mean, I know, like, my mom is extremely healthy. There's some medications she just has to be on regardless of her health. So I guess the goal is to always not be on a medication long term, but I don't feel like I have any problem at this point with it. I mean, there's always going to be worries or possible side effects or whatever, but yeah.
I think it's good to know that it is available to use long term. I don't know that that's always something I'm curious about is like, can I stay on this? Like, are you going to cut me off? Because I think that can eliminate a lot of people's fears around even getting started, is like, oh my God, what if you take it away? And to hear that there is, long-term studies and the ability to continue something long-term too, like you said, much better that on your body than say, where you might have ended up had you had to go on diabetes medication without changing the habit. So that's good
or
to know.
60 extra pounds that I was carrying. How?
Yeah, how was
I doing that?
Better? Like, how is that?
I mean,
healthier?
The fat around my brain, the fat around my heart,
organs,
the fat around my organs, just what I was, the way that the things that I can do and the way that I feel are, I mean, I feel like they far surpass whatever. I don't personally have any fears or trepidation with it, because I can see my ability to work out. My mental health is vastly improved. The clarity, I have literally little to no inflammation. I mean, I can feel it instantly when my rings are a little bit tight, and maybe I had now it's like, you're having Diet Coke too much again or something, because you can tell immediately. I don't know about you, Jolie, but instinctually now I know, like, if I am eating something that's too rich or too sugary or something, like, my body immediately tells me. Like, I get an immediate reaction. And no, I feel like I'm more in tune with my body now. Maybe that's just because there's less crap all the time that I was eating a lot of crap before, but I can feel it now when I make a bad decision and course correct much easier.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think because, like, I'm pretty well. First of all, let's start with, I have celiac, so like that really limits my diet already. Like, so I'm not eating like fast food, junk food. I don't eat things that are often too rich just because the sauce or whatever has gluten in it. So so I think my diet has been pretty, for the most part, pretty healthy. Now I say I notice if, like, I eat something saltier, then, like, oh, I had too much sodium or something. But yeah, so honestly, the biggest thing was the cutting out alcohol.
Yeah.
Because because of the eating disorder, like, for me, a glass of wine could be a meal.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's no longer an option. Like, that just makes me feel like crap. But for many years, like, that was good. I wouldn't eat anything. I'd have a glass of wine. And
do you feel any? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it. So it's made me like think about, like, I eat actual food.
Yeah,
I think that is so incredibly common for anybody that's listening. Is like, oh my gosh, I didn't know other people did that too. I have heard that so many times from so many people, and people, it could be people who are rail thin all the way to obese. There's nobody's like exempt from, I think, going through those experiences.
Yeah. Yeah. And I had to learn, like, 3 years felt like a very long time to meet with a nutritionist weekly for weekly weigh-ins and all the stuff. And she, like, food diary, the whole thing. So like, learning actually how your body processes food and taking the measurements of, like, I think I'm cutting carbs, and she's like, but now your body can't even process carbs if you have one. Like, so learning all of that, I think this has helped me kind of pull it all together, and then feel like what I'm doing is effective. Like, okay, now the eating is effective, the working out is effective. Like, now my body's responding the way it's supposed to.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's why I did it, like, to get me back on track to this. Like, okay, now my body's responding the way it's supposed to, and I can see the results of it. And so, yeah, that's what's really helped me. But yeah.
Have you seen any other effects? I don't feel like there's a big alcohol problem per se in here, but have you seen any other benefits? I actually had a bit of a mourning period when I was on my when I started, because I really love champagne a lot, and it's just pretty much become it's not a thing now. We can still manage, right, to have it, but like, we can power through, but it's not really a thing anymore. Have you seen other things happen? Clarity of mind, mood enhancement, anything else come from not having alcohol be part of your diet?
Oh yeah, like, oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely more clear. I definitely have more energy. And I think, I don't know if it's the not having the alcohol or if it's whatever the medication is doing, but, like, my menopause has like totally leveled out. Like, so I feel like my hormones have leveled out. I don't have hot flashes anymore.
Wow.
And I was having
Wow.
them like regularly, like several times a day, waking me up at night. And now, not at all. And I had
You're like,
previously,
no, I'm not going off the drug.
yeah,
No, I'm not quitting. I'm on
No,
it.
no
We're good.
need.
yeah. So I don't know if that's the not having, because someone had once said to me, like, not having alcohol might help the hot flashes. So I tried that, like a month of no alcohol, and it didn't seem to help the hot flashes. But doing this has really helped. So
Yeah.
I don't know. They don't. I asked the doctor about it, and she's like, "Well, I've not really heard that before." But I'm like,
Yeah. There's
oh.
been some very interesting reports of things that have happened. I have a friend with Lyme's disease, and I'm not going to speak too much to it because I don't want to misspeak. But she's been on an extremely low dose, and she is very fit. She's just this little tiny gorgeous thing, and she's been on a very low dose. I think she started very soon after I did, about a year ago. I think she's barely been through a full bottle in a year. Like, we're talking like maybe a 0.5 in a diabetic needle each week. Her Lyme's symptoms gone, and she looks
Wow.
like $1,000,000. I mean, if you can look better than she did when she started, she does, and her skin is better. Her Lyme's disease has not flared up at all, and she has no inflammation in her body. Like, she just feels so good. And that's not medical advice. That's not
Mm-hmm.
even reality, I guess, but it's happening for her. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
That's a miracle. And this has been, because I remember when we lived in the house on Klickitat, she was really, right when we moved in, she was very much in the thick of it. So fast forward all these years later, and in the last year, she's really felt reprieve. That's
That's
crazy to me.
amazing.
Yeah.
And it's
So,
hard to say. It's like, well, what's what? It's like,
mhm.
I don't know. I don't know that it matters. Who cares because it's working? But I mean,
Mhm.
we've seen, Tiff, like when people adjust their what they're eating, what they're not eating, even freaking drinking water or cutting
Mhm.
out whatever, like the magic of just increasing your protein, just these tweaks. But we've
Yeah.
said that and said that and said that and said that so many times, and we all know it. But if there's this thing that is helping you, it's a tool, and then you're
Mhm.
having all of these other effects to increase your
Mhm.
quality of life,
It feels
that's
like a no-brainer.
incredible.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
is
it's really good.
incredible. Wow.
I posted something on my story this week that said if your protein is low, your sugar cravings are high, or something like
Yep.
that. And I think that that's
100%.
been such a game changer for me. I definitely am kind of on the other end of the spectrum from Jolie, and just managing my life with overeating has been kind of my go-to. Lots and lots of just sugary stuff, and just no sustenance, is that the word? So protein has been a real game changer, because that's something that anybody can start now. You don't have to be
Mm-hmm.
on GLP-1s or any sort of plan. If you upped your protein to 130 grams a day, you're probably not going to be hungry for much else.
Nope.
Mhm.
And you can throw in some fruits and veggies. And if you want to have a little tiny snack at night or during the day, you're going to be just fine. I mean, I was
Yeah.
mortified of fruit. Like, I had a very, 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 I had gotten to the point where I had a really unhealthy, per my own poor decisions, fear of fruit, fear of carbs, fear of a lot of things that were, that are good for you, because I just got stuck in this, little like diet prison that I had put myself in,
Mhm.
instead of making
Yeah.
long-term changes. And
Sure.
I feel like that's where a lot of people are. So I would say, just quick tip, up your protein now. regardless of where you're at, if health is any kind of struggle, I would say protein is everybody's best friend. Like, it's just
100%.
Yeah.
everything should start there.
I think people will be, a lot of people will start with vegetables. I'm like, that's actually, I think, one of the hardest things to start with. Protein is the easiest thing to start with, I think, the biggest
100%.
bang for your buck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even before exercise, to be honest with you. I mean, exercise is a natural progression when you just start feeling better. If you start with your nutrition first, you're going to naturally want to move your body in new ways. I don't think starting with exercise it's definitely not the easiest place to start.
No.
Well, I mean, from treatment, it isn't the place to start, because you don't know what you're working off, and you don't know how much you're tearing your muscles down if you're not fueling right. And so, like, they made me completely stop exercising. I mean, they didn't even want me on the treadmill. Like, I could take a walk outside, like 15 minutes is what they were doing, because said if you're not fueling your body right, you're just actually doing damage.
Yeah.
And so you need to learn how to fuel your body right first. And once you feel like, once we have that under control, then you can do walks on the treadmill or whatever. But I mean, they were absolutely no running. I didn't do weightlifting. I didn't do any of it until I had built up, which is, then I did put on weight, but I learned how to actually fuel my body first with protein, the right amount of fruit, the right amount of vegetables. And so, I just think you have to know how to do that first, and then reframe what exercise is.
Totally.
Exercise isn't a weight loss tool. Exercise is to keep your body moving, because it's healthy, because it helps clear your mind, because mentally it's good for you. But it shouldn't be really a weight loss tool. It's just about moving your body. And I think that's what I had to learn. I just sitting still, I can feel my body, my metabolism works. So adding the exercise piece, then you should be adding food.
Yeah.
But what people do is restrict food and exercise, and then they exercise, and they're actually doing more damage.
Well, what do you think about, I don't know if they had to tackle this with you guys, but for me, I know I was a huge issue, was sleep. If you're not sleeping, if you're not feeding your body, you're not hydrating your body, and you're not sleeping, what do you really think you're going to get from exercise? Start there. And again, the natural reaction will be, you will naturally be drawn to moving your body. You'll naturally find motivation to take that walk, or maybe garden a little longer, or so many people are like, I just wish I had the energy at the end of the day, versus picking up the glass of wine. I should be throwing the ball with my kid. I should be kicking the soccer ball, but I'm toast. I'm done. I just want to go to bed. I want to get away from everybody. What if we started with tackle what you put in your body, tackle your quality of sleep, then the outcome will be, in a matter of time, you will want to move. Yeah. You can't manufacture it the other way. It's not sustainable. And what is the point? You're not going to get the benefit. So you might as well start where you're going to get the biggest benefit. Yeah.
If you do go on Ozempic, at least walk. Keep your skin tight.
That's true, because you are losing weight.
You are losing weight. So, I mean, I would say you have to, we're not saying don't move. We're saying work out. Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm being sarcastic.
Do what feels good, though.
And make it sustainable and long-term.
Rewarding thing.
I think
Yeah.
we have to get out of this. I feel like diet feels fast and feels like it's something that you want quick. In reality, a diet could be peanut M&Ms 4 times a
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
day. That's your
Yeah.
diet. Your
Yeah.
diet is whatever you're putting in your body.
That's your
So,
diet.
and yeah, that's your diet, and that's your daily plan. Has to All it has to do is support your goals. What are your, like, if you
Yep.
have a goal, just whatever you need to do that day to support your goals. I think it looks a lot different for everybody, and I think that um I don't know, I just think it something that the drugs have definitely helped me with is putting it in a simple box like that. Like, I'm
Mm.
not eating, I don't really eat to feel good about, I mean, Reese's peanut butter eggs sometimes make me feel good, but not really, though. Do you know what I mean? And I can
Yeah.
literally open the package, take one bite, put it down, and come back maybe 5 days later, and I'll be like, oh crap, I never finished that. Um, that is a huge win for me. Like, that's being sarcastic, but
No, it's real.
it has
Yeah.
no power over me
Yep.
anymore. And the fact that I can say yes, and just, that's not winning. Like, that's fine. I can, if I see a box of dots that's seasonal, it's going in my cart. I love
Yeah.
the Christmas dots, and it's just so stupid. It's all sugar and it's gummy, but they usually rot now and they're hard as a rock by the time I go back the second time, third time to get into them.
Yeah.
Which is great. Like, that's a huge win for me, but it has to be our goals simplified. I'm going to walk today because I know I feel so much better. In the last year, I stepped in a sprinkler head and jacked up my knee and my AT band on my right leg. Also, I had surgery. It's 99% better, but the 1% that it nags at me is miserable. Losing weight this year, and now I've literally just been working out, maybe really for the last month. I've been serious about it. I have like no pain in my knee or my arm already. I feel like getting strong is so important, but I'm not
Yeah.
working out. The workout has, I don't count the calories to my workout. I'm like Jolie being competitive with herself. I want to get in like at least 8,000 steps daily. If I can get 10, that's amazing. And I'm trying to go to the gym 4 to 5 times a week. And that in my brain is like, okay, I got to check these things off. So that's fun to me to try and get those things done. But it doesn't have, I don't feel like it has any bearing on a weight loss or even a number on a scale. I didn't get on my scale. Actually, my battery died, I think, in like October last year, and I haven't been on the scale since then unless I've been in my doctor's office.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I just got on the other day and I was like, oh, that's cool. And literally moved on. Like, it didn't even matter what the scale said because I have no clothes that fit. I feel good. I look good. It's really a sad affair over here.
The
I'm gonna put
worst
my
problem to
I'm gonna put
have.
my Venmo up for clothing this week. If anyone wants to. No, I'm just kidding. I did a clothing order thing finally because I'm like, I never know what's going on. We're just gonna borrow clothes from subscriptions because I don't know. But it's got to just be simple. I just feel like that's the beauty, real beauty for me, is that it has been simplified.
Yeah.
And it's not an all-consuming thing anymore, which is so lovely. Because
Yeah.
that's exhausting.
It's exhausting and it's paralyzing. It's like we all have probably a similar thing where other people are like, I don't know why that's a problem. Like, I don't have that, issue. I'm like, well, I do. If I overcomplicate it, it paralyzes me and I can't do it, but I can't stop thinking about it. So yeah, just freaking simple. What were you saying on the working out? It didn't sound like cardio was a big deal to you because you're getting your heart rate up when you're building your muscle. So you're not having to add additional cardio on top of it. And that's a blanket statement. Some people, based on what your doctor says and where your heart health is and what you need, I'm not telling you what to do with cardio, but I do think if we're talking about protein and we're talking about where you start, building muscle, especially for women, that's life-changing, especially for sustainability, for long-term health, as we're aging and getting older. If you want your metabolism to fire up, go for building muscle.
Yeah,
Huge
I agree with
difference.
that. And that's why I work out, with a trainer just for that, for weightlifting twice a week. Yeah, because for me, like, it did kind of the opposite. I've let go of some, like, I stopped wearing my Apple Watch, because, like, first, I'm just not that important that people need to I need to see when people are getting a hold of me, so I don't need that. But
Are we
also,
judging
I
our
just
friends?
no, I'm not. I'm just saying, like, for me, it helped me let go of making sure I close those circles and I do all the things, like, and for me, that's better. So I'm not so focused on, oh, did I get in all my steps? Did I get in, like, so that, I think that's where it did the opposite. Like, it freed me up from, like,
Yes.
the
Obsession.
stress of obsession of my, like, did I burn all the calories? Am I, like, because I'm constantly making sure that I didn't eat more than I burned.
Right.
And so, like, for me, it freed all of that up. I will say, and I know I said it again, if you have struggled with an eating disorder of the, like, anorexia, bulimia type, I would recommend that if you do the Ozempic medication, that you are also meeting with a mental health, because if I hadn't had that background, it could really go the opposite way.
Be abused, basically.
Yeah, because like, so I took ADHD meds for years. Now, I think I do have ADHD, but also I might have, like, a trauma-based ADHD. So that was the first thing they took away from me when I went in, because it's an appetite suppressant.
Yep.
And it works a similar way. It's going to help you lose weight and give you more energy.
Right.
So had I not have had all this, like, mental health stuff, and support, then these shots could work the exact same way.
Yep.
So
I had really the same thing happen. I was on it too. And I'm diagnosed with ADHD, and yeah, I would warn the same thing. I mean, I think everybody has different needs, and their lifestyle and the demands of their lives are different, but I was put on the medication. I loved the effects of, I was on Vyvanse. I freaking loved it. I'm 100% all for it. If that's going to help somebody, like, I am not anti-medication at all. But for me, it was really it gave me, I think, a similar thing in, like, a mental clarity and freedom, so I could actually address the things in my life that were out of whack or out of balance, or that I was letting slip because of ADHD. Once I got, though, to the point where it gave me the ability to clean it up, literally clean my house, like, like actually work and do things. But the appetite suppressant was so strong, and I never went even to the actual starting dose. That's how effective this was. Yeah, I think they start you at 30 generally, and I went up to 20.
Wow.
Yeah, and that 70. Was a lot, right? So it's like, everyone's different. And so, again, open to anything, whatever helps people. But for me, it was, I was looking at pictures or feeling clothes going, this isn't cute. Like, and I would go to bed going, when did I eat? Like, this is not, I don't love this. But I needed it in a season in my life, in a period in my life. I was going through divorce, and I was also, full transparency, you guys, I was diagnosed with PTSD, diagnosed with what do they call, major depressive disorder, anxiety. I had a lot of life going on. Once I was equipped with these medications to be objective about what was going on, to shut off the crazy in my brain, and I say crazy, not trying to be derogatory, but it felt loud. I needed it to just shut up so I could deal with my life, dealt with it, made the decisions to get rid of the things that were toxic and unhealthy, include the things that I needed in order to support myself. Then I could be objective enough to talk to my psychiatrist, my doctor, and say, listen, I don't know that I even need these things anymore. And we did the same thing. We slowly took down everything. I'm not on anything anymore. I was able to put back on 17 pounds. And like, for me, it felt so healthy. And the same thing happened. It went from, I was so out of touch with the feeling of actual hunger and even cravings, like it was gone. And so to be able to reprogram myself to actually listen to my body and be conscious in my choices, oh my God, it has changed my life. But I can easily see where we could abuse things like that instead of using it for the tools that they are. And so, and again, if that's what somebody needs forever and ever and ever, by all means, with you and your doctor, do what you need to do. But if you're in that boat where you're like, God, like, I'm either not going to do it at all because I'm afraid I'm going to get stuck or addicted or whatever, but you need it, or, so you don't do it at all, or you are on it, but you think there's no way, or I'm scared to whatever. Are you using the tools for what they're designed for is, I guess, the big question.
Right.
Well, and the end goal is always to better ourselves, or to be our best self, and to heal. Like, I feel like the goal, and we're going to talk about that more next week. We're going to hit mental health next week. But I think in both cases, physical and mental health, the goal is healing. And what does that look like to be your
healed, whole?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's the end goal. I don't think there's a lack of vanity amongst the three of us, but I don't think that I don't think that apparently my Apple Watch isn't cool, but whatever. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But I don't feel like that's what we put on take off weight for. That's not what it's not what it's about. It does feel good to feel good about what we see and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, there's massive amount of healing that we all need to do. Every woman needs to do, and wherever that starts and ends is a personal thing. And there's no right or wrong. I'm not here to say you can't believe in body positivity and be 250 pounds if that's where you feel good. I don't want anybody to think that this is us ever saying you need to be thin or you need to lose weight. I was abusing my body, and I was worn down, and I was not happy. I was so sick of just covering everything up, and that was hard. That was my own hard. Maybe that's not a hard for some people, but it was a hard for me. And so I had to heal, and I'm working on getting whole. I'm nowhere near finished. I want to constantly be working on myself, but I just want that to be known that that's I feel like that's everybody's goal, is to find your center, to be whole, to get better, and to feel good. This life is hard enough on its own. I don't care where you live, how much money you have. It's hard for everybody. It's just, it is what it is. So if we can be whole, that's good. This is one step.
I totally agree with that. Like, this for me was about just me. Like, I mean, definitely my kids weren't thrilled that I was going on it. But it was more about, where do I feel comfortable and where do I feel like I'm living in my own body?
Yeah.
And, for the last few years, I feel like I have not been living in my own body. And so getting dressed is hard. Like everything is hard. And so if I could eliminate that one hard and feel like I'm getting back to a healthier place, like we said, we'll talk about it next week, but I have spent the last 5 years, working on mental health and taking all sorts of medication for my mental health that I've had to do over the years. And so that was one piece of the puzzle. And this just feels like the next piece of the puzzle for me, now that I've kind of got not totally, perfect mental health, but it's so much better than it was. Now this feels like the last piece of the puzzle for me to, like, okay, now I feel like myself and I'm living in my body again, and not like, and knowing the difference between not my, 95-pound anorexic body, but like a healthier version of my own body. And so, like, that was the goal. And that's different for every person. Like, I think a lot of people would feel like, at the weight I was, that's fine. Like, that seems like a healthy body. What's wrong with that? But for me, it wasn't. For me, I need to do something. And so, like Tiffany, like you said, it's different for every person, and you have to figure that out for yourself. And then do the work to do that, whether it's mental health, whether it's physical health, whatever it is. Spiritual health, like all the things. You have to put all the pieces together. And I feel like now I'm finally getting to the place where the physical isn't distracting from my spiritual and mental health.
Wow.
Oh, that's so good.
That's huge. I think that right there is like sums up exactly what we're talking about right there, is that what do you need to do to be at peace? Like I can be at peace when I was 170, and I can be at peace when I'm 115.
Right.
But it was forced. Like in some of those situations, it was still like I had to force myself to get to that point. What is the thing that you're up against that you're keep forcing, and deal with that? Like go address that. And if you need help, which most of us do, go get it, and go, whatever you need to do to get that help, but to find true peace.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
You guys, anything else you guys want to say? I mean, I think that was
I think that was really good.
Very helpful.
Yeah. Good segue into next week, and we'll talk about
we'll talk more
health.
about mental health. Okay. Good. All right, guys. Well, we'll talk to you guys next week. And let us know if you have any questions. Message us on Instagram. And we'd be happy to talk more or go into anything further. But we'll see you next week.
Have a good week.
Bye.